another episode of Pennies with a Purpose. I'm Willie Mullins.
And I'm Anissa Mullins.
And we would like to welcome you today. Guys, we have missed you. We took some time off to allow just adjustment throughout this pandemic. And we have missed you. And so much has gone on, Anissa. There's been the pandemic, and there's been this racial crisis that we have now. Just so much visibility, has come into that part of it. I'm glad to see that. You want to talk about how that maybe has affected you briefly?
Well, let's start with the pandemic first. So, first of all, I didn't think that we would be quarantined this long, even though that we have some restrictions that have been lifted, and now it looks like we're back in the second phase due to those restrictions that we're about to go back into quarantine, full quarantine again. So, as you all know, you're just like us. You're waiting to see when that announcement is going to be made. But I'm sure everyone is taking the precautions that they need to take to make sure that they're safe and that their family is safe. And we've had, unfortunately, more incidents of violence by the police with black men. And as the Bible always says, that all things work for our good. And the good that has come out of this is there has been some real, true, honest conversations about race and about tolerance levels. And I'm just blessed to have people in my life, white and black, that want to have a real conversation and not tell me things like, I don't see color. Now, I want you to see color, because I want you to see that who I am and be proud of that, just as you be proud of yourself. So it's opened up some really good, honest conversations. It's caused me to go read more books on race than I could ever have thought of, just to be informed and to make sure that my attitude is always in the right place.
Yeah, and I think, Anissa, you may agree with me. We do believe that all lives matter. It's just sad that we live in a place where we have to specify that Black Lives Matter. It just shows that there's so much more growth that needs to be done.
Yes.
And we're praying for everybody that's going through the struggle, praying for the families, and we're just praying that this cease, at least come to a stop, and society turns itself around. So that being said, we are a financial consultant, so we want to kind of address the finances. So we want to know, well, we'll start with us. Anissa, tell you about us. Where are we now, since the pandemic seems to have become the norm?
Well, before the pandemic, we had some very specific goals about our debt. That's our number one goal, is that we want to be debt free. We want to not owe anything to anyone. And so, of course, we know specifically what that amount is, and then we have a specific plan on how to address that. And the pandemic has actually helped us in that area, because we are able to stay on plan.
Yeah, we're staying on plan. We're still focused. We are blessed not to have lost any income or anything, so we're staying on task. And for those of you, we want to know, where are you now? For those, we know we haven't. I don't know of anybody that's lost their job through the pandemic, but I know there's been so many, because I keep seeing the numbers go up. I keep seeing stores closing. So thankfully to the Lord Christ, our Christ and Savior, that Anissa and I are on task, and everything's the same, and it's business as usual for us.
Yes, we've even had some conversations about, well, what if one of us were to lose our job? Then what would our life look like? So just preparing, and not just theoretically having the conversation, but Willie actually ran the numbers and said, okay, if you were to lose your job, here is what our household budget would look like. And I'll have to tell you, seeing that on paper, it did give me a sense of peace that, okay, we would be okay.
Right. So I'm glad that we're there. And again, prayers go out for the families that are not there. So the next thing, Anissa, I want to ask is, how has life changed for you personally and financially? And I know you've already mentioned kind of financially, we're still on task, but what kind of changes have you seen?
Well, for me personally, I have one of the things I've always wanted to do is learn how to meditate. When I first heard about meditation many years ago, I honestly thought it was just a bunch of phooey. Like, there's no way that breathing can be that beneficial. But it's so much deeper than that. So I actually educated myself, on what meditation was by reading some books. And then I started a meditation practice, and it has been a wonderful thing. I'll tell you, where is my meditation corner, if you will? Where is it really?
There's a corner in the closet of the apartment that Manisa uses. She
in the closet.
Little nice little light. She made me squeeze in and oh my goodness, and try to see, if I could fit in there, and it's pretty nice.
What's interesting is that, he knows if he can't find me, I'm in the closet, and not to disturb me unless there's an emergency or something. And it's interesting because when you're meditating, you're supposed to only be focused on one thing, and if your mind wanders, you have to bring your mind back. And I could hear his feet all over the apartment, just trying to find out, like, where is she? And then after a minute or two, he realizes, like, she's in the closet. So thank you for respecting that, allowing me my space. But it has been extremely beneficial. It's the one thing that brings me back to my center, because I get anxious just like everybody else. My anxiety level raises, and not knowing what's going to happen, and being in this house, messes with your mind. And I even said to Willie, I truly understand now why solitary confinement is cruel and unusual punishment, because you're left alone with your thoughts for that amount of time without anybody else to bounce ideas off of. It really will make you crazy. And so meditation allows me to examine my thoughts and help me in this quarantine to just stay centered. And some days are better than others. Some days I can't meditate. I just have to cry it out, and that's okay too. I've started journaling more. I've journaled since I was 12 years old, but I'm keeping up with my journal. Willie knows I have a basket of journals, that I have a gratitude journal, I have an affirmation journal. And so to answer the question, it's just really helped me to go deeper within and to grow myself through this.
Okay. And for me personally, it's helped me see some things that I really need to work on. Starting from my marriage, Manisa tell you now, every morning I try to wake up and say, hey, how do we structure our day? Because now that I'm at home and we're both at home, sometimes when we're used to being at home, there's an expectation that time is for us. Well, now that our home has also become our office, it's just getting that structure, and also going back to the reason why did I get married. I got married to appreciate my wife. It's not just somebody I come home at work and we talk a lot about going through the rituals of life. But now, directly making time, setting time aside for us to be able to do things. Being sure now, hey, now that we're home, Manisa, let me let you know what my schedule is, what time I have available, what time am I shutting down for work. So it's helped me personally, again, just think about structure and life. And again, it's renewing our marriage, and now learning how to actually truly live together all day, every day.
Right, because normally before the pandemic, couples, unless they were working at home, but normally the average couple, they go away, to work for 8 to 10 hours of the day, and then they come back and maybe have 6 or 7 hours that they spend together. If that, just because you have those hours doesn't mean you're spending them together. Because you could be at home but then in separate locations doing different things. But we are literally together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it does cause some conversations about, okay, how can we make this healthy? Because just like we embrace our together time, you still need your alone time too. But then how do you get alone time but you're still together? So that's why the closet has been just a wonderful place for me. It's been a wonderful place for me.
Yeah. And the other side of that question was also, how's my life changed financially? It's caused me to revisit some things. It caused me to revisit, like Manisa said earlier, what if she loses her job, or I lose my job, or both of us lose jobs? We're hearing about that. How can we survive? And it's made me go back and say, hey, that emergency fund, that retirement fund, and all of that stuff. So it made me go back and say, hey, where are we going to be by a certain time if this should happen again? Even from not financially, and I know this is a financial show and we're talking about a lot of personal stuff as well, but financial is personal, and you'll learn that. But you know, the toilet tissue, when there was a shortage of toilet tissue, right now we still struggle to find like Clorox wipes and things like that. So I was always a person that kind of stocked up on things, but now I know even more. Just, you know, I don't want to push it to push me to the point of fear, but I just want to be prepared. So there's a difference between being fearful and just being prepared and looking out that way. So that's kind of how my life has changed. So let's go on to the next question, Vanessa.
Okay.
What is now your overall outlook on life?
I have tried for 49 years of my life. I really have tried to be an eternal optimist. I'm a half glass full person. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I strongly believe that in the end, God gets the victory. So regardless of what is happening, what I see with my eyes, what I'm choosing to believe is that the latter will be greater than the last. That in the end, we will come out with both hands up saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this. Whatever lesson that this is designed to teach us, I want my eyes to be open, my ears to be open, to be able to see and hear what God is trying to say. God, what are you saying? Not what our leaders are saying. God, what are you saying? What do you want me to understand about you in this crisis? My new mantra is faith over fear. Faith over fear.
That's good. That's good. Well, for me, my overall outlook on life is making sure that I am the great provider I'm supposed to be for our family, our extended family, and making sure we have all that together. This pandemic and being home has also made me look to make myself better. I'm studying and I'm learning and I'm trying to learn new things. It's helped me learn to love working from home. You know, it's just, so my outlook is just getting the most out of life, and I would like to find that work-life balance and make every portion of my day enjoyable. Just enjoy every moment. Stop and smell the roses. So that's kind of my outlook. Now, of course, we're always looking to grow and do better and teach. The other thing I want to do is teach. We really want to work with people and have them, if something like this should happen again, financially ready and prepared for it. So,
and I always like to say, we don't know everything, but what we do know, we are willing to share. We're constantly learning, we're growing, we're reading, we're studying, we're watching financial videos to make sure that, number one, our household is financially secure, and we want to be able to share that information with other people so they can feel that sense of security and stability that we feel. And again, you know, we also understand that none of this is under our control. You know, we could wake up Monday and both of our jobs be gone.
right.
And so, but you should still be wise enough to plan, to have a plan. I mean, what's that saying that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Right.
So having a plan is better than not having a plan.
Okay, great. And that kind of leads into the last question, which also is what we're about. What are your thoughts financially going forward?
You know, this pandemic has really led me to see that there's so much that we can live without. That we are an excessive, what's the word I'm looking for? Not generation. We are an excessive population of people. That more. Let's go out and eat dinner, 7 days a week. Let's go rent a boat and go on the lake, and let's go on a shopping spree. And, let's go to the grocery store and just pile things in the grocery cart that we're going to take home and leave in the cabinet that gets stale because we bought so much we're never going to open it. And it's really caused me to see, when I go out to the grocery store during this pandemic, what do I really need? And I want to keep that mindset going forward. Is it okay to treat yourself with luxuries and things that you like? Of course it is. but I don't want that to be my norm. That now that these restrictions have been lifted and we're free of the coronavirus, we're going to go full speed with just an excessive lifestyle. And I don't want to live like that, because it makes me appreciate, I never thought that I would grab a roll of tissue and clutch it to my chest like, God, thank you, tissue, because I'm just so thankful to have it. And I want to keep that mindset of everything that I have. I'm just so grateful and thankful for, because I don't have to have it.
For me, financially going forward, Vanessa, I just want to make sure we're in a great place. Make sure, like we planned on, and we planned on building a house. So making sure, and we actually got together and made up a plan. We laid out a plan to get the house paid off. So just you guys know, we're not fully out of debt. We're working on debt. And as we, like Vanessa said earlier, as we grow, we teach what we know. We bought land. I think we did videos, 3 years ago, Vanessa? 3 years ago, we bought the land. We're looking at paying that land off at the end of this year. And then we'll keep, every time we accomplish something, and setting new goals. And we've kind of laid out to walk ourselves into our house plan.
And it's hard, guys, because, we drive in our neighborhood probably 2 or 3 times a week. And when we first bought our land, it was only one street in our neighborhood, and now there's an additional road. There's only 35 houses, 36 houses out there altogether. And so when we bought our land, there were 0 houses. Now there's probably 10, 15 homes. So every time we've driven out there, we've seen the completion of somebody else's house. And we always go up to them and congratulate them, because the Bible says if you rejoice with those who rejoice. And we are genuinely happy, But it's hard to see, like, okay, they built their house, they built their house, they built their house. Will we be the last people to build our home? We might be. But you know what? You have to do it in the right time.
And that shows, for me, it shows that we're practicing what we preach, because we don't want to rush into the house, because we don't want that house to be a nightmare. And so my financial thoughts is for others going forward to think about things. You don't have to have everything today. Make plans. Take your time. If you don't live the full life that you want to live, you'll never know that you missed anything, because you'll be gone. But you want to live a happy life. We don't want you stressing about bills or expenses or credit card payments or student loans. We want you to enjoy life. So again, my financial thought going forward is just keep learning, keep doing, and keep teaching.
Absolutely. And just know that our goals don't have to be your goal. Your goal could be, I'm in an apartment and I want to rent a house. I'm renting a house. I want to buy a house.
Right.
I bought a house. I want to buy an investment property. It doesn't matter what the goal is, no matter how small or how big it is. The whole purpose of Pennies with a Purpose is you should be focusing on something. Something should be driving your financial decisions. Not just, I got a check, I paid bills. And for some people, that might be all you can do for a while. But at least you got a goal in mind that once I get past this stage of my life, this is the next thing I'm working for.
So we are at the end of our video. We are so glad to be back. So glad to virtually see you guys and have you virtually see us. As always, in leaving, we want to tell you, if you don't tell your money where to go,
you will wonder where it went.
We want to thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.